Right. This story, the more I think about it, I mean, I gave it some seriousness. I really gave it the thought that was necessary because it was a news story. Lakers get swept by the Denver Nuggets. LeBron goes to his press conference, said, I got a lot to think about. To be honest with you, he said. To be honest, got a lot to think about with basketball. Then he tells Dave McMenamin, yeah, retirement's on the table. I mean, I got to think about it. So I gave it the weight that it needed, Kurt Helin and Rita. Then I started thinking about it some more. Okay, LeBron, Nike, Spring Hill, he's a show person. There is going to be no retirement under the radar. This is going to be a Spring Hill Nike production. They're going to have a film. They're going to audition actors. Who's going to play LeBron in our retirement film? It may be a 10-part series on Hulu. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a writer's room involved. They're going to be costume designers, set designs. It's going to be the script. It's going to have all kinds of stuff. There's no way in hell LeBron James is just going to be, in the summer of 2023, we're going to wake up one day in June or July, and LeBron puts out a 3-word statement or 2-paragraph statement that I'm retired. Kurt, do you agree with me? I mean, there's no way. LeBron is all about the moment. He's performative. He needs attention. That's what raised by Akron, polished in LA. That's who LeBron is. He needs a production.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be a documentary, though. It's going to be like every week or every 2 weeks during the season. Like, it's going to be like, I don't know, Wrexham or something, where like every week on Hulu or on Peacock or wherever, stuff's just going to show up. I was in the room when he said that, and there was people looking around, and it took me about, like, is he serious? Like, does he mean that? But I pretty quickly came to the conclusion, look, man, he just played all but 40 seconds of 48 minutes at age 38. He was exhausted. He put up almost a 40-point triple-double. Had 40 points, like 1 assist short or 1 rebound short. He was frustrated, but it was also, man, to me, that was a leverage play. That was hey, Rob Pelinka, did you see what I just had to do to get us to a loss? Like, you got to go get me more help. And I think that's where look, what he was saying was, man, I can still dial this up a little, but I can't be your number one option every night, 82 games. Go get me somebody. I think it was that. It was the 1-year contracts in Cleveland. I don't think it was a retirement thing. I think you're spot on about that, though, Michael, man. There's going to be a farewell tour when it comes, isn't there?
Yep. That's what I think, too. I mean, there's no way LeBron doesn't do like a tour so people get to see him for the last time, right? As our good friend Vince Goodwill said, he called him Le Cap. You know, the young people like to say cap for everything. So he called him Le Cap James, because we know that this is not going to end the way that he's saying. But I do have a question in regarding to, you said that you feel like this is a message to Rob Pelinka and to getting some help. What would those options look like? We've seen some rumors going around about, Clutch Sports member Trae Young was at the game. Yeah. So now there's people having rumors about that. I'm curious to know what direction you think that the Lakers would go in that regard.
That is the $1 million question. And by the way, you are wise to think a Clutch client would not be at the forefront of whatever that list looks like. It's much more likely than Kyrie Irving, where I can tell you whatever LeBron thinks of bringing back Kyrie and his ability to kind of keep him in line. Laker management they've still got the scars from giving up all their assets for a third star in Russell Westbrook. They're not going to repeat that mistake. Trae Young's a little more interesting, although I've heard that that's not really where Atlanta's leaning right now. But they've got to go get somebody. It's not, look, there's like Fred VanVleet's out there. There's some shot creation guys who are free agents, but they're not really going to have the money to get those kind of guys unless they want to not bring back Austin Reeves, not bring back Rui Hachimura, the things they want to do. It's going to be a trade. It's why I think they bring Michael Beasley back to trade his salary. I think it's some kind of trade to get another they don't need an elite shot creator. They just need somebody to be a slightly better version of what D'Angelo Russell was, or maybe they just settle on D'Angelo Russell. But something like, isn't that ultimately what they need? LeBron can help you when it matters, but Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis. LeBron's going to miss 20 games next year because he's 39. You gotta go get somebody.
Yep, that's right. So we talked about the Lakers. And this is Michael Malone's point. It was his point after game 1, game 2, and game 3. All the narrative, he's mad. All the damn narrative. Y'all keep talking about the Lakers, and you say this about Jokic. Now, Rita put in her feed that Jokic is the real MVP. You said you were in the room for LeBron's comments, which means you were in crypto.com arena when you saw Jokic bull his way to the basket for the winning hoop. And you saw what he did in that series, yet another triple-double in game 4. Was there any statement that Jokic made? Did he need to make a statement in the Western Conference Finals? How did you see it?
He doesn't play it that way. I think for his legacy that this was an important year. Like, he had to prove that beyond just being an MVP, when everybody was healthy around him, he could lift them to the next level. And he has done that. I mean, he's gotten them to the finals with, he bullied, by the way, his shot into that. And then it was vintage Jokic. He just kind of was off balance and flipped it up and you're like, somebody makes that on the playground. You're like, oh, come on, man. But he does that every time down, it seems. He got it. He got what they needed, but he doesn't really care. Everybody says like Joel Embiid did the whole, I don't care about the MVP. And then he's like crying when he gets it. He clearly cared. Jokic really doesn't care. If Jokic walked away from this tomorrow and just raised horses in Serbia, I think he'd be good with it.
But listen, he already has 2 MVPs, so I can understand why he's like, another one under the belt. I'm sure that winning a championship now is the next thing in line for him. And like you said, he has healthy talent around him now. Jamal Murray, obviously, killed the Lakers in the Lakers series, which really catapulted them in a big way. I know we're having conversations about what this finals could look like. And I've seen people have a conversation about, what the ratings would be. And every time I see a conversation about the ratings, they've come out and people have been wrong. I saw people say, well, the Warriors aren't in the conference finals. And then you see that there was a surplus of people that watched the Western Conference Finals this year already from last year. And I do think that this is good for the NBA. You know what I mean? I feel like Jokic is a superstar. I think that this is finally the time that Denver can put themselves on a map in a list of a potential dynasty in that regard. And so whether or not the Celtics or the Heat wins, it doesn't matter. I just feel like Jokic within himself, people want to see him. He does not look aesthetically like a basketball player, but he is just extremely dominant in everything he does.
No, he really doesn't. And he's a really fun personality. He's an enjoyable. It was fun watching him warm up before the game, and every team has to. If you've got a guy like Jokic, they've got to have like a 7', 6'10" guy on the training staff to just get beat up in warm-ups every day. And that guy had to step away for something, and the last shot came over like at a 6'3" assistant, who had to go out there and try to. And Jokic backs him down, dunks over him, and then gives the assistant the too short thing and walks off the court. It was hysterical. He's out there having a blast. And I think the more they can capture that personality, I think people will warm to him. But I think where the NBA seems headed with the new CBA, with a lot of things they're doing now, is what the league you cover more has mastered. The NFL is parity. The NFL is any given Sunday. And doesn't it feel like this NBA season might be the start of the NBA doing more of that? The new CBA, where it's going to be harder to put together and maintain super teams over any stretch of time. That's the goal, I think, for Adam Silver, right? He wants some of that parity.
I don't know. I don't know if he does. I think what he wants, I think he's caught in between. I think he represents owners who want the parity, especially in smaller markets. They don't want to lose their players to LA, New York, Phoenix, Miami. So a lot of those guys don't want to lose it. But then he also is partnered with ABC, ESPN, and ratings matter to them. So parity, look, if you had this year in the NBA Finals, if you had Sacramento taking on Cleveland, oh, it's good story. Hey, Sacramento Kings in the NBA Finals for the first time, and the Cavaliers, this young core, good basketball story. I don't know. Kurt, is that what Adam Silver wants that?
I mean, but come on, Holly. The difference, though, is that, like, we know who Jokic is, though. Like, who are we rooting for with the Cavs and Sabonis with the Kings? Like, they're not on the same level, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have to transition, though. I think it's something the league needs to find a way to do. Giannis is kind of a transition guy. They need Luka Doncic back on this stage. They need to get. I think they can do a better job with Jokic. Then there's, Jimmy Butler's going to be a good story if that's who it is. Jason Tatum's a good story, and the Celtics, if they come back, that's a good story. Do we really think that they're going to string together 3 games in consistent fashion like they've done all season? Because they haven't. But sure, maybe they can come back. That said, doubtful. It's a good story either way, right? Yeah, they'll take the story either way, but the storylines are there. But I think they're trying to transition from LeBron, Curry, and some of the guys who just retired and Durant is kind of in that older group, to the younger generation of stars. And those stars, John Morant, Luka Doncic, where were they this postseason?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. These guys aren't stars. They're sideline stars. We talked about one of them, Eric Spoelstra, probably the best coach, not probably, the best coach remaining in these playoffs. And I like Michael Malone a lot, but Spoelstra has really proven himself over a longer period of time and has championships to back it up. But I'm wondering, what the hell is Milwaukee doing? Now, let's go back. Milwaukee fires Mike Budenholzer because they lost in the first round to the Miami Heat. So they lose in 5 games to Miami. Giannis got hurt in the series. They won the championship 2 years ago. They extended Bud, and now they fire him. And I hear Kenny Atkinson is one of the names. So hold on. So you fire Mike Budenholzer to bring in Kenny Atkinson? No disrespect, but damn. Like, what are you accomplishing?
Yeah.
If you fire Budenholzer to bring in Adrian Griffin, what's your what are you trying to do? What message have you sent to your players? I don't get it, Kurt. They probably shouldn't have fired Budenholzer.
I've heard Griffin is around in part because he's a Giannis guy. Giannis, that's a guy Giannis likes and respects, and that gets you down the road a little ways. But I think it's a fair question. Budenholzer, if you're talking about somebody like Atkinson as coming in for the Bucks, he's a Budenholzer guy. He spent 4 years on his staff in Atlanta. Like, that way, it's one of those, like,
what?
Different. It's a different voice, but it's not actually different. That's not okay. Like, that's not. I think they've got to go with Nick Nurse. And by the way, this is where I think the coaching staff thing is. Nick Nurse is getting interviewed in Philadelphia. He's getting interviewed in Phoenix. He is getting interviewed in Milwaukee. He's about to be the belle of the ball, and he's the domino that falls, right? And then Phoenix can go and hire Doc Rivers to take them over the line, because if you want one guy to really take you that last mile, it's Doc Rivers.
Oh, we got jokes. Oh, we clowning now. Oh, we clowning.
I was like, wait a minute, this got to be sarcasm, right?
I wonder, how about Doc and Chris Paul? Did they make up? Are they cool now? Because they couldn't stand each other for a while.
I don't think it was ever that bad between them. I think that those two guys are professionals. They ought to work together. There wasn't, I don't know that they're like, I was about to say having wine together, golfing together, like Doc. I think Doc and Phoenix, they'll never practice because he'll just be on the golf course every day during practice time. But I think that look, everybody likes Doc. I don't think that that's going to go badly. I'm just not sure if he's the guy. Kenny Atkinson's not go. I saw his name pop up in Phoenix. I'm like, really? You think Kevin Durant wants him back? Like, I'm not sure where. It's interesting to watch the guys go after Nurse now. Like, that's Nurse, and then Monty Williams might take a year off. So if he's out of the mix, then where do you go?
I feel like in terms of the situation with Doc, right, and Chris Paul, if you're winning, I feel like that's the remedy for everything. So it cures a lot of ailments. So even if there is a little bit of tension in between them, if they're doing well, then that makes everything feel better. But I think I like Nurse better though in Phoenix. So I'm hoping that's where he goes.
Nurse is the outside the box guy, right? That's why I think he makes sense for the Bucks too, or even if you want somebody who's going to do something different, it's Nurse. The other guys are a little more conventional. Nurse is the guy who's willing to break the mold to make it work.
Yeah, and the Phoenix was scaring me though. Rita, Phoenix was scaring me because the new owner, the rookie, the one who was like trying to troll Jokic by hold on to the ball, rookie, didn't like Monty Williams from the start.
Who doesn't like Monty Williams?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, strange.
Wasn't his
Watch
guy,
out for him. What?
But also too, right? Like, wasn't his guy? I mean, so now he gets to pick his own guy. But whoever comes in for Phoenix, I hope that they are able to do, if this is the same roster, which I don't think it would be. I would hope that they could do more less because
that's going to change. Aiden's gone, maybe Chris Paul. It's going to be very different.
Yeah, gotta be.
Well. So on the way out, Kurt Helin, we need to know. Now you already threw it out there that it's gonna be it's a long road for Boston to come back against Miami. Your prediction for when and how this series ends? Is it end tomorrow night?
Game 6. No, maybe because it's Jimmy Butler and that guy just does not fear the road. But I think it's Game 6. They get back home and Jimmy's just like, I've had enough of this. They get a Bam game. Gabe Vincent's ankle is all the way back, and that's the game. I'm going 6 now.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.